Lowell that has to be corrected.
Right, and that's the point.
At the same time, you try to continue to make progress and to look into the future. But certainly $5 million for a trolley system, there's a lot of streets that have not been resurfaced in years, and there's businesses who could use some help downtown. I don't know who the trolley is going to bring into the downtown when you have a trolley and no one, basically rides it now. So I don't know.
George,
that's my
to your point.
opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And George, to your point, you got Bridge Street. We mentioned this. Yeah, we mentioned this before, and they got a berm that could possibly be built to help the citizens in Pawtucketville with the flood issues. I mean, there's a. I mean, we could sit here for another 2 hours and name projects that would probably be better well spent in things that we have in need than that. But that's another time.
Everything I say is considered, sometimes some people interpret it as hostile, and it just seems that we're in this vogue now. Anybody who asks a question at a city council meeting is considered hostile, or if they don't, their tone is brought under suspicion for asking a question. Someone goes up from the public to go before the council to raise an issue, and they're considered hostile if no one, has worked on it. But you know what? This is what I just want people. I just want the city to synchronize the lights. How many studies has the Lowell plan done through the years? And the first thing these urbanologists bring up is, gee, it'd be nice to get a traffic flow in the downtown. And since I've been here for 23 years, the lights are still not synchronized. The cars still go into intersections over the intersections. There is no police officer downtown when there are choke points and at vital times, but yet the police can be brought in on special details to monitor people who go through the yellow lights, okay, and they chase them down on Route 38, okay, like they're criminals, and they put public safety in jeopardy because the people are trying to avoid cops screaming down 38 to find someone who went through a stop sign or a red light or a yellow light. Yeah, you have to do that if people are going through red lights. They violated the law, but we're bringing people in on special grants. Or we're not paying anything because they're federal grants. Well, you know what? I'm a taxpayer. My federal taxpayers dollars, just like yours, are paying for those two cops to sit there along the road waiting for people to go through a yellow light. But there's no one downtown in the morning when people are trying to go to work and get over that bridge, or at night when people are trying to get through that traffic to the other side of the bridges, and I'm saying to myself, where's the logic?
Right. Well,
I thought government was supposed to at least respond and react, okay, but...
Well, why can't we all come together? And I think a good thing and a good place to come together is Salvatore's Restaurants, an upscale Italian restaurant located right on the banks of the Merrimack River. You can sit down and enjoy a glass of wine. I took a stab at it, Jim. I'm not a professional at this. Anyway, so, good points. I completely agree with many of the things that you said. And what else is the Sun working on this weekend?
Who changed the timing of the lights at Bridge Street?
It isn't over.
And why not send a photographer down and take a look at the rust spots? Take pictures of the rust spots and the hand railings and the bridge itself.
Well, let's face it, George. There is a lot of work going on the bridges, and I know the city has done a pretty good job in trying to identify those things, and we are getting a new bridge, University Avenue Bridge, or the Dick Howe. The new name is the Dick Howe Bridge, so NL is fixing. Even some of these bridges over the roads, like on Central Street. they've been largely ignored, and I applaud the city for getting some of the people who are responsible for that, like NL, to fix these things, So I just wonder why some things that are just easy to do, like synchronizing lights, it takes so long, and yet the city has been successful, I think, in getting some of these people who are responsible for these things to do that. Whether it's the state, they've built up good, strong alliances, and I give the city manager and the council credit for doing some of that. But some of the easy things that have been identified in these reports. The Sun wrote a big long story when Mr. Jeffrey Speck came in here, and the Lowell Pan, I admire them for bringing in him, and he identified some simple things. What about the bike lanes that were supposed to be done on the streets and stuff? I mean, they wanted to make Lowell, a little more friendly for students and the downtown residents. I mean, what does it cost to put down the lines? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're going to do that in August or something. But,
well, you got to have a place to put the trolley tracks now, so you can't do that.
Yeah, but right. I mean, just simple things that we can do that aren't going to cost a lot, like changing the lights, like making sure traffic flows. I mean, that says a lot. I remember, even during the winter with the UMass Lowell, the hockey team had such a great year, and I'd look out from my office window here, and there'd be traffic all along Dutton Street, people waiting to get through, and yet there were police up at the Songus Arena, but there's no one down here at the three lights in between to say, hey, let's push this traffic through, because no one's coming diagonally the other way. And I'm saying, where's the common sense for 2 hours, to get people through that traffic? They're coming up here at 5:30. They're trying to go to a restaurant before the game. I mean, you put out the welcome mat.
Right.
Okay? That's all I'm asking for. And you know what? I guess there's a lot more brighter minds than mine for saying, no, we can't do that, I guess, than saying, yeah, we can do it. But we've got a new policy center now. The mayor's going to create a new policy center at his office, so maybe he can review some of these things with his capable staff up there, and maybe we can get some answers.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Do you think it would be a good idea to take some of these one-way streets like Merrimack and Market Street and turn them into two-ways like it used to be?
Well, that was also in the report, and everybody nodded their head in agreement with Mr. Speck and said, geez, some of these things make sense, and they would get the flow there, and it actually would encourage businesses to move in, because now you have traffic going both ways. People would stop on the other side of the street. Once again, I haven't heard anything else about that, but what is the timetable? I mean, the Lowell plan, you thank them for spending for these reports and bringing in top talent, and the top talent comes in and say, wow, Lowell, you got a lot of things going on good here, and you can do some of these things, and short-term and long-term. But then when are we ever going to do some of these things? I don't know.
It's interesting. Jim, we got another minute for your appearance. Is there anything else in the Sun that you want to make us aware of before we let you go?
The column is always a big winner, and I know there are a lot of things percolating in Chelmsford with the election, so not much so Lowell this week, but there was a big forum debate the other night for the selectmen, Board of Selectmen, also Planning Board. Mr. Van Loo, who was running for selectman, he's the one who started that petition to throw out everybody in government that they had a vote there, and he spent $90,000. He's running. So I think it'd be interesting to see some of the things that Jen Myers came up with, things that took place both before the public and behind the scenes. So some good items on the Chelmsford election. I think that everybody would be interested in reading about, whether you're in Lowell, Chelmsford, or Westford. It was an interesting evening.
Well, that's great. Well, Jim, I want to thank you for joining us. I got Mike holding up signs telling me we got to go. I got. We love this guy. I could have him on for another 2 hours.
Would you ask Peter Lucas to add another name to his candidates for Democratic governor?
Yeah.
Like the sheriff, Peter Katusian?
Yeah, okay. Well, it's interesting that Carmen Ortiz's name is bandied about.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Yeah, well, hey, they're all jockeying for position, and I think now that the lieutenant governor has been somewhat neutralized, or he's got some things to overcome with his crash, everybody is, George, you know that there's blood in the water.
There is blood in the water. Blood in the water. And with that note, we want to thank Jim Campanini for joining us yet again on the JMac Beer Show. Thank you, Jim, for joining us. The editor's view. Jim Campanini. Yes, the editor from the Lowell Sun. Always a good guest on the JMac and the Bear Show. Mr. Byrne, well, thank you for coming on the show this week.
I appreciate you having me.
And
I was thinking, George, I have a bottle of wine from the package store on Appleton Street, Wild Irish Rose. Perhaps you could give a bottle to Mr. Campanini.
I would love to.
Right?
Well, there's also another one in that package. Isn't it called Night Train?
Yeah, Night Train.
Night Train.
And it used to be Muscatel and Whiteport,
right,
Redport, but those are past
Mad
that.
Dog 2020.
Yeah, but a review of Wild Irish Rose would be interesting.
Right. Well, those were all the final wines we always bought when I was in the military. But before we go, I know we've got a short amount of time. I do want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank my boss, as always, Sal Lapoli, for sponsoring the program. Sal's Pizza, Salvatore's Restaurant, Riverwalk Properties, our good friends at Coffee Can Cafe, my buddy John Sarro at Pentucket Medical Associates, our friends at Elite Body Therapy and Salon Nicole, my good friend John Dakota at Center Ice Pub, and, of course, our new buddy, George Barcelos of the Merrimack Street Convenience Store. Ladies and gentlemen, every Friday from 11 a.m. to noon, the JMac and the Bear Show live on WCAP 980 a.m., where everybody gets it.